A nightmare or very hard story mode is something a lot of people have been asking for over the years. I don't even remember when hard mode finally got released. But I think we could do with an actual harder difficulty. Now, obviously, everyone's saying it for more orbs, right? But I actually do think we could actually use it as a way to introduce new players to like another way to experience some harder, challenging content without necessarily maybe having to join co-op. Like if someone plays a story mode from beginning to end before they actually start going on to harder things, adding things like dodge mechanics. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I played hard mode. I'm not sure. Do they have little burning pools of like various status ailments like burn, weaken? If they do, if they don't have those, you could add those, and if they do have those, add more of those. Give enemies poise, iron skin, make things a little bit more challenging. Although for the really truly hard things, I would maybe add it more on like occasionally. But it could be a way to spice up the story mode and make it so veterans would probably clear it relatively easily. But, new players, new accounts, more specifically, can't just use it to farm harder. Or to just farm, what would be. How many different sections of story mode are there? Let me check. I believe if we go to status, we can see how many different parts. And then we can just multiply it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. Actually, I can just go down here. 13. So for the main story, you have 13 parts. So times it by 2. So what? 2,600 orbs at least? Give or take? For just the main story. Then we have 3 parts there. So that'll be 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 18. That'd be 22. So for total between the bottom, so it'll be 44 plus what did I say? It was 26. So it'll be 66. 72. My math is correct. So 26 plus 22. I don't know. So let's just say 70 parts. So if it's 70 parts, or not 70 parts, but like for normal and hard, that would be what? Actually, I could probably just combine these two and then add them together. So 13 plus 22 would be what? 35? So 70. So 70 parts total for normal hard. If you add another, it'll be what? Another 35. So 105. So that... If there are about 100 orbs per section, that would come out to about 10,000 ish orbs, a little over 10,000 orbs. And obviously, you not including the story characters that you can pick up. I think they have like 1, 2, and 3 stars that you can pick up through story mode, which will give you some orbs, not a lot, but over the grand scheme of things, it would be a significant amount of orbs. But good luck trying to actually do that if you do add things like dodge. Because, let's take a look at some of the characters we've been getting lately. I'm going to go to the album. That way you can actually see it without my extra stuff on it. So if we were to take Eisen, for example, and go to list, he has read all affiliation dodges. So he would be really good at autoing the parts of the story mode that do have the dodge mechanics. And if there's a burning pool of fire there, he'd be really good at that too, because he won't be getting burned. But if you have other status ailments there that are like a bunch of pools of like weaken, for example, he might not be the best. He could still potentially die if the right circumstances happen. But if you were to put someone like this guy right here on there, he's going to be dodging hollows 50% of the time. So the whole, actually probably a good portion of the story, he'll be dodging 50% of their attacks. That's insane. But if we scroll down here, he gets shared complete status immunity, which is really good for him. He basically won't have to worry about getting afflicted with a status ailment, which is definitely going to be, if you throw in a lot of those status pools and a lot of enemies that freeze and burn and potentially weaken, yeah, he is going to be able to go through there pretty easy. He also has double status ailments on there, so he's either going to, flicks weaken on him, burn, that's going to really hurt. So even now, if you were to implement that difficulty, probably the only real significant challenge would come from enemies with iron skin, which, well, he would be able to penetrate, because as soon as they get afflicted with the status ailment, he's going to be destroying them. And what was the other one? Enemies with poise. If he ain't killing them quickly, that could be another potential issue. Really depends if he has, the advantage. If he's going up against like a bunch of speed units, it is Yamamoto. He still probably beat him, but under the right circumstances, he still could potentially get knocked out. And if you're going for orbs, you don't want to get knocked out, because a lot of the times you have to beat the stage without any of your characters getting knocked out. Otherwise, you lose 2 orbs. So you're only going to get potentially 3 orbs instead of the full 5, which is, can be an issue. So now that I think about it, that could be really interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think they should add a nightmare story mode? Another potential possibility for story is they might add the 1,000-Year Blood War eventually. I'm not sure, because obviously the anime's coming out. They might not want to have the story in right away. They might want to, delay it. So let's say if whatever we get for the first month of the anime returning, maybe they decide to say, okay, you got to wait 6 months afterwards. Maybe a year afterwards. And then maybe they'll add certain sections. Maybe after a year, they'll add I don't know, the first 3 months of the story or something like that. They'll add 1 or 2, parts of the story. Because as you can see, you have Camp for Your Old World Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. They could do that with 1,000-Year Blood War in the main category up here. That'd be after this. It'd be Part 14. They'll put, I don't know, how many parts would the 1,000-Year Blood War be? That's a really good question. How? Because they're going to be adding content. You got to remember, things that weren't in the manga, because, Kubo didn't have enough time, his health, all the issues that were around at the time. What if they, include some of that for the actual story, which I think they will, hopefully. And if they do, how much more content are we going to get? Is it going to double the amount of story? Is it going to be a third? 2/3? So that could be really interesting, because how many orbs would that be? If they, let's just say 2/3, So it's what? There's 13 parts? I don't know how to do that in math. So let's say 6, so 7, 6.5 would be half. Let's go to part 9. So if they add 9 more parts, that'd be 22 parts total, which would be kind of funny, because I think there's 22 parts here. So 22 parts here, 22 parts here. That could actually be a pretty good way to go about it. But yeah, it's gonna be a while before we get the 1,000-Year Blood War story that's completed. Then by then we might have maybe new content. We might get more Camp for Your Own World. We might get some more Safweave. We might get some more, I don't know, Burn the Witch. I'm not sure. Burn the Witch ain't on this. None of their stories here, so at least I don't think it is. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So maybe something else. And what else? The Hell Arc. Maybe the Hell Arc gets added. We get more content for Hell Arc. That gets adapted into the anime, and we see some more story after that. So there is a potential for more story to be added. but I don't see it happening anytime soon. And I honestly don't think we'll ever get a nightmare difficulty mode. Maybe. I mean, if they add more challenging stuff, you know, because power creep's constantly going up. It's going up, up, up. And if they do add more power creep, they could add a harder difficulty, and it'd still be pretty easy at that point, unless they take like the meta, that's the, you know, stuff that deals with meta characters and puts that in the hard difficulty. That could be interesting. But anywho, let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're gonna ever get an nightmare difficulty? But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Have a nice day.